On Friday, the FDC party president, Patrick Amuriatoboy, reshuffled the committee leadership in Parliament. Some of the key changes saw the removal of Kasese woman MP Winnie Chiza as the leader of opposition. Abdul Katuntu was also among the affected members, losing his position as chairman of the Committee on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises, COSASE, to Kawempe South MP Mubarak Mnyagwa. The changes have since raised questions among party members on how and why they were conducted, with some of the dropped members promising to seek for these answers. Judith Akelo Franca, the woman MP for Agago District and chairperson, Local Governments Committee now, joins us in studio to discuss these changes. Welcome to NTV.
Thank you so much. Good evening, viewers.
All right, first things first.
Can I correct something?
All right, no problem.
Franca Judith Akelo, chairperson of committee now. It is only until when it is effected in Parliament then I become. So you would want to say maybe to give proposed or elect or something. All right,
thank you for that correction.
Yes, yes.
Well, we do hope you go through the Parliament, but then let's still talk, the reshuffle, because we do want to understand what's your opinion on the reshuffle.
One, it's not a new thing. It has been happening. I have been in Parliament since 8th Parliament, and I have been seeing this kind of reshuffle coming from the side of opposition. As you know that so far we have had 3 or 4 leaders of opposition in Parliament since the 8th Parliament. So it doesn't come to me as a surprise, although there's a small difference in the timing of the reshuffle, a little bit of difference there. Normally it has been happening towards the end of the first half of the 5-year term. So really the question of why it has to happen, definitely some of us who know the procedures of Parliament do really think it is something which was inevitable. And 2, I also think it's a normal thing. Even President Museveni reshuffles his cabinet. So, I mean, all over the world it's a practice. People are given, different people are given opportunities to serve the nation, to serve wherever they are given responsibilities. So really, if you're asking my opinion as to about this reshuffle, that is what I think I can.
Now, a couple of members, of course, within your party, want to understand why this happened this way, and of course, some of them are considering it a purge. What do you, make of that?
Everybody is subject to their opinion, and so I really think everybody has the right to think the way they want to think. But doing a reshuffle is a normal thing. And so in the spirit of giving other people also an opportunity to serve, maybe that, so that the nation is also able to see whether there are other people out there, especially bringing in new faces that have not been, very common. Some people like myself have really not been so much, in those. So I think having new faces maybe could also be an opportunity for the nation to see what someone has to offer the nation. And 2, it's not also so good to criticize before someone is given an opportunity to serve. I take the case of Honorable Betty Aolo-Chan, who is proposed to be the next leader of opposition. Well, I know that Honorable Betty Ochan joined Parliament at the same time with Honorable Winnie Chiza, same time with myself, and so on and so forth. The reason that someone has been given an opportunity to serve all through could have helped to build their capacity to be what they are. And also the fact that others have not been able to get such opportunities to serve doesn't mean they are dense, It doesn't mean they are not able to serve. It doesn't mean they are not able to really offer leadership. So the idea of rubbishing somebody before they are given a chance to serve, really I think is unfair. So I really think it's a healthy thing. Yeah. Ugandans should take it as something that really happens. Of course, I for one believe that everybody, as long as you qualify to become a member of parliament, save for those who get to parliament and are thrown out, but as long as you qualify and you become a member of parliament, you can be able to perform any task given to you. And
you did talk about new faces, and of course there's been, contestation that FDC is now divided into two, you'd call them two FDCs. The one leaning to the Muntu, camp, and the one leaning to Patrick Amuriat, which is also leaning onto the former president of the party, Dr. Chiza Besigye. And the new faces you're talking about all seem to be leaning to, the Patrick Amuriat camp. What's your take on that?
First of all, I think Ugandans should understand that it's important that we have to understand what multi-party politics is. Since this multi-party politics has been reintroduced in Uganda, I think Ugandans have stuck, not all, but most Ugandans have stuck to the movement system. Why do I say this? Because whatever happens in a political party that seem or that look like a weakness is kind of blown out of proportion. Like in this case of FDC, I'm a member of FDC, and I don't know whether really I want to believe that there are camps. Of course, it is unavoidable to have camps in the party. Like the case you've given, the example you have given of the followers of Patrick Amuriat, the party president of FDC now, and the followers of Mugisha Muntu. I really don't think that could be. Anyway, I for one, I don't want to speak for the party president, Patrick Amuriat, but I don't know what was in his mind to put the faces he has been able to suggest this time round on Friday. But I do remember also very well, I want to declare also here that I for one, if you want to call me also belonging to a certain group, I am one of those who supported Mugisha Muntu very, very strongly. And so in the last parliament, 9th Parliament, I supported Mugisha Muntu, and the proposals that Mugisha Muntu brought to Parliament as his cabinet did not only have faces of his supporters alone. For example, I didn't get any position in the 9th Parliament, but I was his supporter, and I am his supporter. I do support, I do support my party. And so it doesn't mean if I don't get a position, I therefore have to, or someone has to throw me out. And I also don't want to believe that the people the Honorable Engineer Amuriat proposed now in his new reshuffle, and those that he will propose in the next shadow cabinet, I don't really want to believe that all of them are those who supported him.
Are you worried that the FDC party did not perform well in the recently concluded municipality elections?
Oh yes, of course that is it's a worry, because we wanted to have these positions. But of course I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised. And I think Ugandans shouldn't be surprised that we lost in those municipality elections.
What went wrong?
First of all, there were so many, and given the lean resources that we have as opposition, you know that we struggle barehanded without, any sort of financial, resources. That is one of the key factors that could have led to our performance.
Another school of thought says that, there was in competition, that instead of concentrating probably in Shema, you know, FDC decided to divide itself in Bujiri and then also in Shema, and when you know, try to chase two, you lose both.
That is also true, it's possible, but for me I want to think that the major factor that led to our poor performance in this election was the lack of finances. Because if you see what happened to Shema, actually in Shema I want to believe that we won. Even in Inebi, I want to think we won. But what happened usually at the eve of the voting day is what kind of try to disorganize, you know, the final vote results that are declared. So I don't want to think that we divided ourselves too much, because during elections we have candidates in so many positions in this country, and we still manage to bring in a good number of members of parliament and other you know, and other positions in the country, and yet everybody is always engaged.
I want to conclude this with now a look at your selected position, chairperson of the local governments committee. What's your expectation, and you know, what should people expect from you?
Of course, local government accounts committee is an accountability committee that oversees how government money that is sent in the local government is used, and whether it is being used correctly, whether, you know, the people who are using it are doing the right thing, and so on and so forth, whether there is value for money for such kind of, you know, resources that are sent by government. So the expectation of the people of Uganda definitely is that this committee helps the country ensure that the resources, that the little resources that reach down in the local governments are put to good use. The issue of corruption is one of the things that I think Ugandans are so optimistic on, and seeing that it gets reduced, because you know that local governments are the nearest to the communities, and unfortunately very little resources from the center goes to the local government. But again, the very little that goes to the local government, it kind of disappears. You don't see it. For instance, the monies that go to the district, it appears a little bit big, but by the time it goes down to the sub-county, and then to the parish, and then to the village level, more or less it will appear as if almost nothing has been sent, because you know that only about 20% of the national budget of this country is sent to the local governments. Now that very little is sent, and people of Uganda are not seeing much. And unfortunately, this local government accounts committee is like a post-mortem committee.
Honorable, our time is fast spent. I'll have to cut you short, but we do appreciate, of course, your presence here tonight. That is Judith Akelo Franka, woman MP for Agago District. And that was Talk of the Nation.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's now take a short break and we'll return with sport.
Newsbite is brought to you by
Safe Drive Uganda, improving road safety.
The FDC from the election of 24